right. Good evening, good morning to some, maybe some good afternoon to some others all around the globe. Everybody, welcome to the VET S.O.S podcast. My name is Keith, and it's an honor for me to be filling in for Sean yet again this week. So please remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab that VET S.O.S lifeline. VET S.O.S is brought to you by the Who You Know Network and is a proud member of the Parade Deck community. VET S.O.S can now be heard on the Wreaths Across America radio is on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And you can also find Wreaths Across America radio on the iHeartRadio app, Odyssey, and the TuneIn app. We're excited to have Angel Alvarez from Soldier on a Mission with us today. We're excited to really get into some good discussion with him today. But first things first, Eric is with me again because, again, Sean's off convalescing, the lazy bum. But Eric, it is so amazing to have you here with us. How you doing tonight?
Brother, I'm so excited to be here. I'm honored, man. I've got 2 in a row. I don't know. I kind of like it when Sean's down and out. No, I don't. I love him. I don't want him down and out. But I know he's being nursed. I know he's being nursed back to health, and he's taking his time. I'm excited to be here, bro. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to hear what Angel's got for us and for our listeners. And in the immortal words of my former self when I was the co-host of this show, pitter patter, let's get at her.
Let's get it. Yeah. In last episode, we had Sergeant Major of the Army, retired Jack Tilley, and it went way too fast. So let's try to even get more time with Angel here. So real quick introduction. So Angel Alvarez is a veteran coach and mentor dedicated to guiding former military personnel toward a fulfilling life beyond their service. With over 21 years of devoted service in the Army and 22 years in the U.S. Postal Service. Now that's a channel right there. He's witnessed countless veterans' challenges during their transition to civilian life, and he draws from his journey of personal growth, and he founded the Soldier on a Mission with a clear vision to empower fellow veterans on their path to success. Angel, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. Tired, by the way, because this early morning, I'm in the Pacific, so on a Saturday morning, it's against my religion to wake up so early.
That's a tired thing. We don't have to wake up early anymore.
There you go. Yeah.
Right. That's the one thing I haven't gotten rid of from my time in the military. I'm up no later than 5:30 every morning. So I don't go work out until later in the morning at least. But yeah, I can't avoid the early wake up.
There you go. No,
for me. Angel, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it's great to have you on the show. And so thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, even with the time zone difference, it's an honor to have you. So go ahead and kind of tell us a little bit about the Soldier on a Mission, kind of how it came about, and what you want folks to know about it.
Well, and it actually started many months ago. I was still in the military, trying to get out. I was retiring. My family and I were in Germany. We landed in San Francisco. And then my wife asked a question. Now what? I said, I don't know. What do you mean? So, okay. You're out of the service and what's going to happen? I says, I don't know. And that put me on a path to finding out what is it that I needed to do. And by the way, I'm a slow learner, so it took me quite a few years to do the whole thing. But I finally did it. And basically what I do, I'm a Christian. So most of the things that I do it faith-based, even though the program is not, you don't need to be a Christian, okay? We have it like that. So once I realized what the whole thing was all about, is okay, you know what? I need to find somebody to help me out and guide me on the path. And I got that and it's, you know what? I want to do this. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get people, vets especially, because I don't know about, when I retired from the military, all they did for me, we had a little bit of training. By the way, this is like 1992. So we had a little bit of training and next thing I know, so thank you very much. See ya. And it's okay. And I went. Didn't know what to do, where to go, how to do. And now I know. And that's one of the things I am trying to convey to people that I talk to. We need to go back to our child years. We need to go back to dreaming. to knowing what is it, because we grow up and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm a grown man. I cannot dream. I cannot have those things. How am I going to do it? I don't have the time. I'm too old. I'm too this. I'm too that. I'm too the other. So I'm here to show them that they can have what they want, provided that they follow a certain system, which is what we are into doing right now.
I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I can relate somewhat even with your story, because I did 22 years myself. I only retired about 5 years ago, or coming up on 5 years ago. But all that to say, I was initially going to do 4 and out, and I even got so far. I re-enlisted. I think I only had like 2 or 3 months left on my contract when I re-enlisted at the last minute. That's a whole nother story for another time. But I remember they were about basically like going to be like, and that's part of the reason I re-enlisted. I was terrified, even at 4 years. I was like, I had a plan, but I was still scared, and nobody was helping me back then. Like nowadays, they got a little bit more stuff, and obviously we all know it's no fault to anybody necessarily, but it's not enough. But right, yeah, just exactly. Yeah, but even back then, I mean, what folks, soldiers, and all service members like weren't receiving on their way out the door was just a disservice, in all honesty. So
exactly,
so
and that's how this came about, by the way.
That's awesome. Yeah. What did you have, Eric? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No. So my question is simple. If I'm a transitioning service member, Angel, tell me what I'm going to learn, what I'm going to glean from. How am I going to get involved with? What is it going to look like for me to get involved with Soldier on a Mission?
Great. That's amazing. So how much time do we have?
Yeah. We've got about 20 minutes. 21 minutes left.
And you can have them all if you need them. Go.
Okay. Anyhow, so basically, we're going to start, first of all, in showing them that they can dream. We have a proven system, a reliable system, where we started with dreaming. Okay, what is it that you want to do? What would you love to do? Not necessarily what I want to do, but what would you love to do? Once we do that, we get him into, okay, now you know this. What will be the number one thing that you want to do? And at that point, we take him into a program. It's about 12 weeks long, depending on what we do. And we go and set up a path. In the meantime, we already, we have orders, we have this, we have that, you go here, you go there. In life, we need to do the same thing. We need to have a path. We need to have a way to get to what we want to do. So, and that's what we do. We get him into crafting a vision that is comfortable for them, but again, to stretch him, get it beyond the thinking, because a lot of time we think, many programs out there, they look around and say, oh my God, you got to do this, you got to do that, but they forget there's a certain things and certain steps that happen for us to get the results that we have. And it all starts right here, the thoughts. Whatever you think about, that's what's going to happen. So, and by the way, that's a proverb in the Bible. Whatever you think, whatever man think about it, so is he. So, okay, this is what you're thinking about. Now, what's going to happen next? Okay, well, I have the thoughts. I'm going to feel something about those thoughts. What kind of, okay, I mean, I remember, for instance, when I was in Vietnam, and they told me, oh, you're going to fly. So what? We took off. I was so scared out of my wits. And it all started here. I mean, in my mind, I said, oh my God, they told me every 2.5 minutes, one of the birds get shut down. I'm not going to go home. And so that's why you can relate. It could be something like that. It could be something less, but your thoughts create those feelings. And then your feelings create an action. So I said, okay, I'm scared. What am I going to do now? I'm happy. What am I going to do now? Those actions are the one that create the result that you need in life. So if you want to change the result that you're getting right now in life, for instance, I'm out of the service. I have put in 10,000 applications and I've done all the resumes, everything else, and still nothing. Well, maybe it is because you don't have a direct thought, a direct path in what is it that you want to do. So that's what we do. Rather than saying, okay, by the way, you need to do this, you need to no, let's change whatever's in here first. Once we get that part, then we get into the goal setting and all this stuff that the nitty gritty that happen along the way. That is how we do, you know. And by the way, once the dream, we do have a process so that they understand if that dream. A lot of times we say, "Oh, am I worthy of that dream?" Well, maybe not so. Is that dream worthy of me? And we take them through some steps to find out whether that is a good dream for them or not. And overall, the other part that we have found is that most people, and moi, I'm there because I know when I was working for the Postal Service, I was working ungodly hours because I wanted to. We're in California. My wife didn't work. I have a family, so I'm working ungodly hours. And you know what? One thing I forgot is my family
Mm.
because I was giving so many hours to work and provide that I forgot about family. And then all of a sudden, here I am. My sons are leaving. So, oh, gee, now what? You know, we go back again to the same question. Now what? We didn't have that relationship. So in our program, we like to take them and bake it, into like a wheel. Your life is a wheel.
Mm.
Not only you're gonna have the vocation, you're gonna have the time and money freedom, but you also need the health alongside and the relationship, which is one thing that I didn't do when I was going through in the postal service. So once we work all that out and you have a rounded life, then you can say, okay, I'm going that way and I'm going to be successful because all this is happening. And I don't want somebody else to go what I'm going through, by the way, because I'm still going through. My oldest son and I, we really don't have such a great relationship because when he was growing up, I was never around. First of all, I was in the army. And of course, I was never around. Then, when I left the military, he said, "Oh, Dad, I want you to be my teacher because he'd been to some of my classes." I said, "Angel, I don't teach kids. I'm not good with children. If I teach, it's going to be adults or maybe teenagers." Well, that didn't work because we came to California and then I realized, teachers don't get paid by that time. Teachers don't get paid that well. I need to pay my bills. I need to pay my mortgage, And so he down to this day, he still regret the fact that I was not
Mm.
around. And I don't want somebody else to go through what I went through. I mean, even to this day, I'm going through that because I neglected 20, 25 years ago what I want to tell everybody else to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here. I mean, that is the crux of my mission.
I love it. And I think, Angel, I think that's a lot of us, right? A lot of us that stand, who have served in the military, who have been in a life of service, understand selfless service. But a lot of times I think we understand selfless service, and selfless service is easy to understand because it's birthed out of our own hardships, right?
Mm-hmm.
That selfless service, the idea of giving back and that idea of helping someone else and kind of reaching back and helping the next guy up or the next gal up. I think that's a lot of times that's birthed from our own setbacks, our own failures, our own shortcomings, the things we regret in life. It's funny you say that about your son. When I was serving, right, my oldest son had me home for 11 months out of his entire high school career.
Mm-hmm.
4 years I was home for 11 months, and they weren't consecutive, right? It wasn't like I was almost home for a whole year. It was just that's how many months I got home.
Yep.
And I think it's important that our transitioning service members take time to recognize that these are things, these are behaviors and expectations, right? That an organization like the Army or the military, any branch of service really puts on us. And it's okay to lay them down as we step out of the uniform.
Correct. And that's the other one too. I feel lost. In the military, you have everybody is around you. Hey, hi, how you doing? And all this stuff. And then all of a sudden you're, oh, well, I don't have that camaraderie. What happened? Uh,
Mm.
what am I going to wear? What am I gonna do? And even though they have given us a little packet on the training that they do lately, that's still not there because we still don't know where to go. And one good example on that, by the way, when my oldest son graduated from high school, all throughout his schooling year, he was in everything that you can think of because he didn't want to be home. So he was in everything. He was in band, musical theater, all that. At the end of the school year, they had a big concert at UOP, which is I'm in Stockton, so UOP is over here. So we had a big concert. I finally convinced my boss to give me some time off. I went there, and all the moms and dads and my wife, they were talking jokingly, and then all of a sudden somebody says, "And who are you?" And my
Oof.
wife said, "Oh, wait, that's my husband," and everybody cracked up. We thought you were single parents because they have seen each
Mm,
other from sixth, seventh grade and never saw me.
mm,
And I was floored. I was
yeah.
floored. At that moment, I said, you know what? I know I want to move up in the Postal Service. I want to do all this stuff, but I want to be a regular human being, whatever that may mean. And I told my
Yeah.
wife, I said, you know what? I'm going to stop the rat race. I'm going to take a different kind of job. And she said, how are we going to do it? I said, I don't know, but God will provide. So, and he did. So I stopped the rat race. I stopped doing all that. But by then, it was too late.
Yeah.
Mm,
You a couple times you touched on kind of like what it was like when you're in the service and even in the postal service, right? Like everyone is kind of there and everyone's doing the same thing. I've often called that the
Hmm.
matching clothes syndrome, right? So
Hmm.
as you're getting ready to exit the military, right, when you look around while you're in the military, no matter where, for the entirety of your career, whether it was 4 years or 34 years, everywhere you went, you ran into people who had similar experiences. Maybe you both knew the same person, you had served together before, you did the same job, and if nothing else, if you didn't have a thing in common with anyone else, you were all wearing matching clothes.
That's right.
We always had something in common everywhere we went. And when we step out of service in that uniform, those matching clothes come off and we look around and we're like, I don't match anyone anymore. I don't
Hmm.
I don't know who I am without matching the guys and gals to my left and to my right. How do I do this? So if
That's
you
right.
were to Angel, if you were coaching someone and you were talking to them and they were trying to figure out what it means to not match anyone anymore, how would you handle that?
Well, basically, uh, like I said, so we're gonna start and say, okay, guy, let's find out what are we doing now, and we have some stuff that we do, by the way, because he said at least 12 weeks, once a week, we get together and do the whole thing, and we start doing. I don't, you mentioned, imagine the language. I said, oh, gee, I need to stop using flowery language because I'm no longer there. People look at me, I'm done. So that is part of what we do. We change it here. We go through a process. Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, this is what we're going. Great. Let's write down some small steps that you can do right now that will get you in the right direction. Don't think about the overall, the mountain that you have to climb. Think about that little bit of thing. Okay, let's change the way we speak. Practice and practice and practice. How and what's going to happen to the uniform of the day? Well, so whatever you're going to wear. I mean, for the postal service, of course, I was in the carrier, by the way. But for the carriers, they already know, oh, this is a uniform of the day. Well, I was not in that in that kind of. I was wearing whatever, my coat and tie and whatever, and it was difficult. It was
Yeah.
difficult to find out what to do. Not only that, you no longer have that camaraderie. You don't have the same, like you said, no matter where I went, at least somebody knew somebody that knew somebody. So you have that. Then I went to work, actually, between the Army and the Postal Service. I went through a few jobs because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I finally did that. And even in the Postal Service, I said, oh, we at that we tend to hire vets in the Postal Service, but it's not the same because those guys been around like 2 3, they were around 2 or 3 years, and here I am, 21 years, and they all had they believe what the military service was all about. And I said, no, no, guys, that's not the way it works. What do you know about it? Well, I spent 24 years in the army. I was in Vietnam, and I was on a roller coaster with no rails. So yeah,
That's a great descriptor of the Army, by the way.
yeah, no, I was flying. I was flying. I said, wow, and somebody would look at me and say, what do you mean? I said, well, you go up, you go down, you go left, you go right. And you try to avoid those guys on the ground that are trying to tell you that you're in the wrong place, and they're trying to get you to be in the right place, which is on the ground. So one of those, I said, I went through that. They figured we were ghosts. So next thing I know, I hear a ding, 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 and they tell the aircraft, oh, gee, Charlie, I think they shooting at us. Charlie looked back, the pilot, by the way. He looked back and said, Angel, do something about it. My partner, he said, Angel, get off your butt and do something. That's what we're here for. I said, what do you mean? They're trying to kill you. Oh, I know that. Well, guess what? You need to kill them. Oh. And that changes your mindset when you do that, okay? And so when I went to the Postal Service, and they thought, oh my God, you're kind of weird. I said, yeah. One, because I'm a Christian. Two, because I spent my time in hell, like we call it, and I made it. I made it with all the digits, everything else. Some people didn't do that. And I'm grateful for that, okay? So that is how we do it. We get one step, okay? Let's take one step. Let's get you thinking differently. Maybe you want to read a different book, a self-help book. Or if you're not into reading, listen to one. I'm going to recommend some stuff for you to do. So you have some homework. And then at that point, we start making the steps, one step at a time. And we take one part. We don't take the whole wheel. Let's say that they want, for the most, I don't know, I would imagine most listeners that are listening to us now or watching us, they want a job when they get out of the military. Because like me, they may have bills. I have plenty of bills. I'm in California. Most people think California is expensive, and they're right. It's ungodly. I mean, I remember the days when gas was like 5 something a gallon, and then all of a sudden it dropped to $4.95. Everybody was a happy camper. Oh my God, $4.95, yes, cheap. And talked to my sister-in-law in Georgia, and she said, "What? That's a lot of money." I said, "No, considering that I was paying $5.45 just the other day, this is great." So that's what we usually stress. What is it that you want? It's not so much putting all those applications, because then it's like target practice. If you don't know your target, you're not going to hit it. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. And we take the vocations. Okay, great. Yeah, you want a job. What kind of a job are you looking for? What would you love to be doing that would create and generate the income for your family? And forget about the how. Don't worry about the how, because this is like we're gonna be Houdinis and Merlins. We're gonna get a magic wand. It's okay. This is what's gonna happen. We work on that part. Okay. Now we know. I love teaching. For instance, myself. I love teaching. Okay. Would you like to be a teacher? The pay is not that good. Well, let's find something that you can use your talents as a teacher and yet give you a better job, better income. And we write it down, put everything. It's okay. Now we have that part. Let's work on that. And we start putting and getting to that direction, getting them, first of all, thinking, okay, I really can do this thing. I can make it happen. He just told me that. And then all of a sudden you get the first interview for the job that a position that is really just for you. And I said, oh my God, Angel, I cannot believe it. That woo-woo stuff that you were telling me works. So, yeah, I know it works.
That's awesome. So, Angel, let me ask you one more question. If I'm a transitioning service member, if I'm an active duty person, how early should I engage with your organization? How early should I reach out to Soldier on a Mission and say, I think I'm getting out. I think this is what's going to happen. How early should I do that?
As early as possible. Once you decide, because by the way, the whole thing starts with a decision. First of all, getting out of the military, then a decision to what employment do you want. So as early as you want, because this doesn't happen overnight. You were in the military 3, 4, 5, in my case, 21 years. You've been around this earth in 30, 40 years. So it's the changes that are needed. They're not going to happen overnight. The earlier you start, the better chance that you have when you finally hang that uniform and you put on the other monkey suit. And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm ready. I think about it. I know what I'm doing. And then Angel, I'm out. What's next? Okay, let's do what's next. How's your family doing? I don't know. I haven't seen my son, my family in a long time. Let's work on that part. Okay, yeah, you want the job, but let's work on this thing. Work, talk to your wife. Go out, do something with your kids,
right?
And then we keep on going. Yeah, the earlier, the better.
Okay, so that brings me to my last question, because believe it or not, we're actually running out of time, which again, I don't know how this keeps happening.
Really?
But I haven't had a chance to talk. This is awesome.
Yeah, what a slacker. We're going to talk about that when we get off air. Anyway.
I had notes to talk about. Somebody else has jumped in before me. That's all.
So if I can start as early as I want before I get out, then I have to ask Angel, if I'm a guy who's been out for a while, or a gal that's been out for a while, can we still reach out to you?
Yes, for sure. I like to work with a time frame, so to speak, because if somebody been out for 10 years or so, then the mindset is maybe a little bit more difficult to put him back in online. But yes, they can do it. They can come to us. Send me, go to the website, solidmission.com, fill out your information. I will get back to you, or somebody will get back to you, and then we'll go from there.
Outstanding. Keith, you got anything? You haven't said a word all this whole interview.
I haven't said no. I mean, I could go a whole other 20 minutes just and building off of the things he's already said. But this was a great episode, Angel. You've dropped so many truth bombs. We only gave you 2 bomb pop-up clip art things, but man, the whole episode was amazing. And you're speaking my language, brother. So so much truth. Your organization is doing a really great thing for our service members that are in transition and our veterans that are in transition. So keep fighting the good fight, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so last question for you. Oh, go ahead, Angel. Go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead.
No, I want to hear what you got to say. Come on.
No, I was going to say, it all started with a decision. Okay, I have a story, but I think we had the time for the story, so I'm going to stop at that.
Gotcha. Right. Okay, so we've got the website coming down along the bottom of the screen. Everybody's looking at. They've been looking at. Hopefully, wink, wink, stomp, stomp. You guys have written this down. But if is there another place? What is another way? How can folks best get a hold of you?
On the website, you find my phone, my phone number, my business line, so they can call me. It's going to be a little bit difficult. My time is kind of limited, So if you call me, I may not get back to you until tomorrow, so to speak. So, but I will get back to you.
Outstanding.
One way or the other. Okay.
Outstanding. All right, brother. Man, we really appreciate your time. Thank you for your continued service to our community. It has been it's an honor to watch a fellow brother step in the gap and stand at the tip of the spear for our brothers and sisters. So we appreciate you. Thank you again for coming on the show. On behalf of the VET S.O.S family, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Make sure you follow and subscribe to us on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. And please remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline. We'll see everyone later.